Well, hey guys, welcome back to the workshop. Thought I'd share you a little update on something I've recently completed. So this is a Balsa USA Smoothie. My wife got this kit for me for Christmas, and I thought it would be a fun distraction over the course of the winter, which it has been a tremendous distraction. Now, first things first, I'm going to tell you right now that this is not an ARF. This is a kit. This is a Balsa kit, complete with die crush, die cut parts. They're not laser cut in any way, which is actually kind of cool. It's a nice throwback to old school kits, and it's done very nice. Now there are some things along the way that come with die cut parts where some of the parts are a little bit more tricky to remove, but I didn't have any major issues removing the parts from the cut sheets. With that said, everything was pretty straightforward. They include the classic instructions, which are very few instructions, but the more modern instructions are quite complete. They're a little bit more challenging than your standard kind of kit instruction, but nevertheless, it's enough to get you going in the right direction and enough opportunities for you to do some problem solving and troubleshooting along the way as you build. I also want to note that I've done some customization to this particular airplane. Nothing in terms of the airframe really. What I will note is that the landing gear is not stock. The landing gear is actually taken from the Escapade that met its end. Not Escapade, the Meridian. Taken from the Meridian, which met its demise last year. I saved that landing gear. Now the wheel pants are another fun addition. The wheel pants are taken from the Hangar 9 S-Bach that was years ago. I've repainted a little bit. The blue was not the right blue. It was more of a metal flake. So I matched the Bugatti blue that is elsewhere and made the landing gear match as well. I have, other than that, kept everything pretty stock. I decided to not go with a pilot, mostly because this airplane is designed to be a racer. Now, what I mean by that is I really like this old school style of airplane. It looks very sleek, very fast, and the Smoothie, from what I've read about the Smoothie, has a lot of potential to be just that, a very fast model. You can fly it slow too. From what I've read, it can be a really light airframe. But as it is, this airplane is set up to be quite the speed demon going into the 3-digit numbers. So, in terms of what you're looking at here, if you go back in some videos of mine, we're dating ourselves here a little bit. Years ago, I built a Bugatti 100p. That airplane has flown twice, and that's not for lack of trying either. Over the years, I've debated on and off about what I would do with the Bugatti, and honestly, the only thing that I would do with the Bugatti to get it to fly is to make it a tricycle gear. And that deviates so far from the scale outline that I hate to do that to that airplane. So I've essentially relented to the fact that the Bugatti will probably never fly again. It's topic of a different discussion. But I spent so much time and so many wonderful people helped out with that build, especially around the Contra motor. This is a Contra rotating motor assembly that was custom built, and is a bit interesting going over this airplane. The bearings, I took it apart to clean it, and the bearings on the front motor, which is the rear propeller, those bearings were shot. They disintegrated when I took it off of the inner shaft, and so thankfully I had a couple of bearings on hand. I knew that they were special bearings because those bearings see roughly around 26 to 30,000 RPM total between one direction and the other direction. So replace those bearings, and I learned some things along the way that I thought I'd share. With this custom setup, the one thing that I did not necessarily take into account is the fact that this this prop, the rear prop, which is bolted directly to the front motor bell, it's free floating. And so when it creates thrust, it actually pushes up against the prop collet. It's a compression collet adapter that holds the front prop on. So between that pushing together, that's probably what caused the wear on the front bearing, which caused it to fail. However, the additional contributing factor was I used natural-based lubrication. I've learned a lot about lubrication. The natural lubrication was just not up to the task. It was not going to be able to lubricate the bearings fast enough. So now I have fully lubricated the bearings with a Teflon-based lubricant. I've also added what's called a thrust bearing. And this is, well, I'll insert a picture here. The thrust bearing will act as a buffer bearing between the two props so that things can rotate more easily without putting too much load on the support bearings for the rear prop, front motor rear prop. So I'm hopeful that that will work. We'll see how it goes. Now I did assemble this with two motors in mind. First and foremost, this motor, according to my calculations, again, rough calculations, back of the napkin kind of deal, we're looking at just a hair over 100 miles an hour. I do have a backup motor I built two firewalls into this to account for the depth of the motor. This other motor, which is a Sunny Sky X3520-6 720 kV motor, capable of handling about 1,500 watts. On 4-cell, this should do somewhere around 90. But if I put it on 6-cell and prop down a little bit more, I should be able to hit $110. So this airplane could be going quite fast. I'm excited about it. I hope to have a little bit fun doing the speed thing with this airplane. I haven't flown it yet, but I have to talk about the great supportive community that we have. So first and foremost, we have Ultracote all over this entire airplane. Horizon Hobby supplied me with the Ultracote for this project. We're sporting floor blue on the entire airplane, as well as pearl white and pearl charcoal for accents. When the airplane is turned over, yes, this is a Joshua Orchard YouTube channel sponsored racecraft. So I do have decals on order from Cali Graphics. Because of the pandemic, Cali's on a backlog because apparently other people are building a lot as well. So Cali has my order. She will be shipping Friday of this week. So I hope to have a nice big decal of my logo here in the center, as well as on the wingtip on the other side. I'll have a nice logo there on that wingtip, and I'll also have two smaller logos to put on the side of the tail. I've debated about putting my pilot name. I've got printable decal water slides that I could put on the side if I wanted to, but I haven't. That's too much of my name, to be perfectly honest. Big letters like that, it's fine. I plan to have a lot of fun with this plane. Everybody says it flies great. Not really looking for any issues, but I'm not expecting them either. Last of all, when I pulled out the Contra motor from the Bugatti, doing some testing and run-up, the ESCs that I was using at the time even though I've only had 2 flights, one of the ESCs failed. So Horizon is nice enough to sponsor 2 of the Avian 60 amp ESCs for this rebuild of the motor, but very thankful for them supplying that. So stay tuned for a maiden flight report on the Smoothie from Balsa USA. It's my first Balsa USA kit, and I have to say that it was a lot of fun. Lot of shaving. I used my razor planer a lot on this build, but it was a lot of fun shaping all of this, and the chin scoop and the turtle deck, and getting the empennage formed just the way I wanted it to, making sure things were symmetrical. Good fun. Had a lot of fun with this project. So stay tuned for a flight report, and this is the Balsa USA Smoothie. Again, give them a check out. They have some fantastic kits, not just the World War I biplanes that they are famous for. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Been wanting to build a Balsa USA kit for a while. Also, make sure you check out Horizon Hobby, as they are just phenomenal supporters of this hobby all around, and just really good people to work with as well. So until next time, be a little bit more nostalgic about your flying work of art.